as always, with us as we get set for the weigh-ins. A reminder, the prelims tomorrow night, you can catch them live streaming from start to finish on either Bellator MMA or Showtime Sports on YouTube. And you can also catch them, just find the Bellator channel on Pluto TV. And with that, for all those in attendance here at Great Shots, let's get your first fighter onto the scale now. We'll start it off with a catchweight affair at 175 pounds. It'll be Ya versus Bai. We'll kick it off. First fighter out of the blue corner to take the scale, it's Ya. And our first fight, an amateur contest. 3 3-minute rounds. 4-0 he is as an amateur. And his official weight, 174.4. 174.4 pounds for Ya the second. And now his opponent coming to the scale. Please welcome slippery Brett Bai. 1-0 as an amateur out of Vermillion, South Dakota. Official weight, 173.8, 173.8 pounds for Bai. And again, to kick it off, the prelims tomorrow night, Bellator 284. Amateurs will lead the action, 3 3-minute rounds, catch weight 175. Ya the second, slippery Brett Bai. And we move now to 3 5-minute rounds in the Bantamweight division. Your first fighter to the scale, Downey Ortega. El Chupacabra, 5-4 as a pro out of Denver by way of Columbus, Nebraska. His official weight, 134.6. 134.6 pounds for Ortega. And now his opponent at 2-0 as a pro, merciless McKee. Out of St. Michael, Minnesota, 2-0, 2 knockouts to his credit on the scale, 135 even. 135 pounds even for merciless. Your first pro contest, fight number 2 tomorrow night. Prelims for Bellator 284 from Sioux Falls. It is Downey Ortega, McKee. Up next, we go to the heavyweight division. It'll be Currier versus Schoenfelder. First fighter to the scale out of Mason City, Iowa. We welcome Mark the Wolf Currier. Early on as a pro, 1-1. His victory coming by way of knockout. The Wolf on the scale, 250.6, 250.6 pounds. And now we welcome his undefeated opponent out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Berserk, Bailey Schoenfelder. At 2-0 as a professional, both of his wins by knockout on the scale, 227.8, 227.8 pounds. Heavyweights now set, fight number 3. Again, catch it live, streaming on YouTube. Either channel, Bellator MMA or Showtime Sports. And of course, you've got Pluto TV, and you should just find Bellator under the sports category. There's fight number 3, Currier, Schoenfelder. We go now to the middleweight division. It'll be Nelson versus Downey. First to the scale, Keys Nelson. Out of Nebraska City, Nebraska. On the scale, Nelson, 183.6, 183.6 pounds. Now his opponent making his professional MMA debut, Pat Downey. He'll fight out of Little Haiti, Miami, Florida, by way of Baltimore, Maryland. His official weight, 186. 186 pounds for Downey. Set for 3 rounds or less. Middleweights, Keys, Nelson, Pat Downey. And for fight number 5 on the prelims tomorrow night, Bellator 284 will step up the light heavyweight division. Jeffries versus Cauley, first fighter to the scale. The anti-hero, Tyson Jeffries. Out of Severance, Colorado, the veteran at 14-10, 2 submissions, 3 knockouts, 10 submissions to his credit. On the scale, 201.8, 201.8 pounds for Jeffries. And now his opponent out of Mesa, Arizona, the undefeated Sullivan Cauley. At 3-0 as a professional, with all 3 of his victories ending by way of knockout. Official weight, 205.4, 205.4 pounds for Cauley. With 7 fights scheduled on the prelim card, here's fight number 5, light heavyweights, Tyson Jeffries, Sullivan Cauley. And we go now to fight number 6 in the flyweight division, Kish versus Bennett. First to the scale from Los Angeles, California, Justine the Machine Kish. Eight and 5 as a professional. On the scale, 128.4. 128.4 pounds for Kish. Her opponent now out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Diana Vitamin D Bennett. As a pro, 12-7-1. Her weight officially 125.2, 125.2 pounds for Bennett. Fight number 6 tomorrow night from Sioux Falls, Sanford Pentagon flyweights, Justine Kish, Diana Bennett. And now we'll close down the prelims in the Bantamweight division, your 7th and final fight on the prelim card. It'll be Breno versus Hill. Your first fighter to the scale, Marcos Breno. Out of Rio Preto da Eva, Amazonas, Brazil. His professional record, 14-2. 8 knockouts, 5 submissions to his credit. On the scale, official weight, 136 even, 136 pounds for Breno. now his opponent making his way to the scale. Gentleman Josh Hill. Out of Fonthill, Ontario, Canada. 21-4. As a professional, 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. His weight. For MMA or Showtime Sports, Pluto TV has the action live as well. Just find the Bellator MMA channel. And we go now to the 5-fight main card tomorrow night live on Showtime from the Sanford Pentagon here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In the main event, 2 top contenders in the welterweight division, Yamauchi versus Gracie. We start now with the first fight on the televised card. Middleweight set for 3 5-minute rounds. Jeffrey versus Vanderford. First fighter to the scale. We welcome back Jeffrey. Out of Tillsonburg, Ontario, Canada. At 12-3 as a pro. 8 knockouts, 1 submission to his credit. And on the scale, 185 even. 185 pounds even for Jeffrey. And now his opponent, fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, the gentleman Austin Vanderford. By way of Ninilchik, Alaska, 11-1 as a pro. His official weight, 184.4. 184.4 pounds for Vanderford. Tomorrow night live on Showtime. They'll kick off the main card 9 o'clock in the east, 6 o'clock on the west coast, 8 o'clock if you're local right here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. From the Sanford Pentagon, middleweights leading off the live card, Jeffrey, the gentleman Austin Vanderford. And we go now to the heavyweight division, Saricam versus Sowma. First heavyweight to the scale, Gökhan Saricam. Out of Istanbul, Turkey. 7-1 as a pro, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. His official weight, 248.2. 248.2 pounds for Saricam. And now his opponent out of Boca Raton, Florida, by way of Suriname, Saeed Sowma. 8-3 as a pro. Same finishing score for him, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. On the scale, 243.4. 243.4 pounds for Sowma. A heavyweight throwdown fight number 2. 3 rounds or less. It is Gökhan Saricam, Saeed Sowma. And we go next to the flyweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Your third fight live on Showtime tomorrow night. It'll be Elin versus Macfarlane. First to the scale, Bruna Ele. Out of Campinas, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Her professional record, 6-3. Official weight, 125.6. 125.6 pounds for Elin. And now her opponent, the former flyweight world champion, Ilimale, the Eliminator, Macfarlane. Out of Honolulu, Hawaii, 11-2 as a pro. 2 knockouts, 6 submissions. To her credit, on the scale, officially 129 pounds for Macfarlane. The flyweight feature, your third fight tomorrow night live on Showtime. Again, set for 3 5-minute rounds or less. Bruna Elin versus Ilimale Macfarlane. And we go now to the co-main event of the evening. Back to the heavyweight division. It'll be Mowry versus Moldavsky. First to the scale, Steve Mowry. Undefeated at 10-0. A finish in each of those 10 wins, 4 by knockout, 6 by submission. Officially on the scale for Tall Steve, 249.8. 249.8 pounds for Mowry. And now his opponent, please welcome Valentin Moldavsky. 11-2 overall as a professional. At one time held the interim heavyweight strap on the scale, ranked number 1 in the division. His weight 238.2. 238.2 pounds for Moldavsky. The heavyweight division matchup, number 5 against number 1 in the rankings in the co-main event. 3 5-minute rounds. Tall Steve Mowry versus Valentin Moldavsky. And we go now to the main event of the evening. Tomorrow night live on Showtime. The welterweight showdown set for 5 5-minute rounds. Yamauchi versus Gracie. First to the scale, we welcome Goichi Yamauchi. Out of Curitiba, Bahia, Brazil. An impressive 27-5 as a pro, including 2 knockouts. And a Bellator historical best, 21 wins by submission. His weight on the scale officially 170 pounds even. 170 pounds even for Yamauchi. And now his opponent, the former welterweight title challenger. Please welcome Neyman Gracie. The number 5 ranked welterweight. As a professional, 11-3. 1 recent knockout victory, 9 submissions to his credit. His weight officially 170.4. 170.4 pounds for Gracie. 2 of the best grapplers and submission artists in MMA today square off in the main event. A note of interest, both fighters just 2 fights ago stopping each of their opponents in the first round by way of knockout. Will they stand or will they go to the ground? The main event. It's set 5 5-minute rounds. Welterweight showdown once again in the main event. Goichi Yamauchi, Neyman Gracie. All right, we thank you so much for joining us. For all those in attendance here at the Sanford Sports Complex, we thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night just across the way at the Sanford Pentagon. For those that joined us on the live stream, we thank you for joining us here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Again, tomorrow night from the Sanford Pentagon, start time live on Showtime for the main card, 9 o'clock in the East, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. And of course, let's start the evening off the right way. The prelims, 3 hours earlier. Catch them live, streaming on YouTube, Bellator MMA, Showtime Sports, Pluto TV. And the start time for your first prelim for Bellator 284, 6 o'clock in the East, 5 o'clock local, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Again, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night live for Bellator 284.